Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. So today in our space we are going to be doing a new spring wreath and we're going to start off with the sign from Dollar Tree. I have some buffalo check ribbon. Dollar Tree sells this too, but I'm going to use one that's already open. I have this beautiful orange and this carrot ribbon. They both came from Sam's Club and it's 50 yards of ribbon. I also have from Dollar Tree these beaded wreath forms. This one's a little misshapen. It's in black and then this one is in natural wood. I have this thrifted grapevine wreath and I have from Dollar Tree those roses. These orange ones came from Hobby Lobby and these two picks from Target. They were $3 a piece. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is take apart or open up this black beaded wreath. I am not going to open the wire up enough that the beads fall off. Make sure you don't do that. And I'm going to wrap it around the natural wood one because that one held its shape a little bit more. Now I do recommend that when you do this, wrap it around both sides and don't try to make it too many wraps around it, like too many times, because it will make it look shorter and they won't meet at the top. So as you can see here, I'm making sure they're going to meet at the top and I'm just shaping it to make it back into a circle around, and then I'm going to try to hook them back together. However, when you do this, one side is going to be tighter than the other, and so I try to finagle it so it's not so tight, but it doesn't really work out that well. So I end up taking my needle nose pliers and pulling the other side apart. It had a longer piece to it. I took a zip tie and put it on there just to hold it so nothing would come off. And then I put them back together and with my needle nose plier and then just cut the zip tie off after. After you get done with that, you will see it'll just look like this. And you can shape it when it's in this form. You don't have to have it perfectly round before that. Next, we are going to take my sign here and has thumbtacks in it, and if you just press on the back of this and push forward, it'll pop right off. There's no glue on there at all. We'll save that other piece for a different DIY at a later date. And now I'm taking my Dollar Tree kind of Cricut tool and I'm removing those thumbtacks. Now some of them are in there really tight for mine, so I turn it over backwards and press it down until it comes up, and then you can pull the thumbtacks off. That one got away from me a little bit, but we'll get it back a little later. And this is how I took all of these out. So next, I have decided that I'm going to use some fishing wire. This one is rated for 12 pounds. It makes it thicker, and I do believe I got it at Bass Pro Shop or somewhere like that. I'm not sure. They sell them everywhere. I think even Dollar Tree sells some. So I'm cutting off sections. They're about 8 to 10 inches, and I am looping them through. And since it's such a heavy weight, it goes in there real easy, all the holes. Once I get them in there, I make sure they're halfway through the holes, and then I put the thumbtacks back in. I know, I'm so sorry you can't see the fishing line because my desk is white. I should have put something under there so you can see it, but all I do is I pull on the fishing line to make sure it's kind of even, hold on to it, and then push the thumbtack back through. The heavy weight makes sure it doesn't break the fishing line. So if you have fishing line that's like 3 pounds, you may need to get something heavier, or you could use twine or something instead. I don't want to see it, so I'm using fishing wire. And here again, you can't see it. I pull it out from the side, and I am going to be putting some dots of hot glue on here because the thumbtacks come through and they're sharp. Just in case someone else uses this wreath or takes it down off my door, I don't want anybody to get poked with it, so I'm covering up the ends of the tacks with some hot glue. And my hot glue gun is a high heat hot glue gun, but the battery had died on it, so I'm doing that with the glue when it just starts to warm up so it's not as hot as it normally would be. And then I just wait for that to dry so then I don't poke myself. So now I am going to put the sign here on this little beaded wreath. And I'm putting it down towards the bottom, making sure I don't cover up where they're connected, because you're going to need that connection to connect it to the grapevine wreath in a little bit. But I'm taking the two sides of the fishing wire and I'm just tying it between two of the beads and then turning it over and double tying it on the back. And then I scoot it through the beads underneath between the beads on each side, and I double tie it again. You can put it around any of the beads, but make sure your fishing line goes between two beads to tie it down. That way it's nice and sturdy, and then you're just going to cut it off. I leave about a 1/2 inch of fishing line. I know you can't see it because of my white desk, and I'm sorry for that. I have to remember that. I am getting a new cutting mat. I have a new cutting mat to go on it, so it'll be better. So I did that to all 4 sides. Now I'm taking a very long zip tie. These came from Home Depot. Dollar Tree sells some. I don't know if they sell them this long. You can use black or white. I just had white right here, and I'm running it through where these two are connected at the top. That's why we didn't want to cover that up with a sign, for one thing, because you want the sign to hang evenly in the middle. And I'm loosely doing this. Don't tighten it all the way, because you can see I turned the whole thing over so the top of it has where the zip tie connects. And then I'm going to shove it in to the grapevine wreath, the leftover zip tie. Don't cut it off, because we're going to make a loop there, and I'm not going to have it closed all the way down. We're going to put a little hot glue on it, and this grapevine wreath is really dense, so it'll hold it there so I can use it later to hang it on the door. Now we're going to use another piece of fishing wire. I'm running it between the 2 different color beads, and I'm wrapping it around the black bead, and I'm making sure I'm going in between the beads, and I'm double tying it. So then that right there is secure. Then I'm holding it up to figure out where I want to tie it, and I'm going to flip it over in the back and run the fishing wire through the grapevine wreath on the back only. Both pieces go different directions here. One went one direction. I'm trying to get it through the other one, the other direction. This just holds it so it kind of stays in the middle of the wreath. You don't have to do this, but then when you hang it on the door, if the door opens and closes, it might scoot to one side or the other. I'm just trying to keep it in the middle. So that's what that looks like next. Next, we're going to take these gorgeous picks. They're from Target, and I love them. I bought them last year, however, and I really wish I would have bought more. They were $3 a piece, but I only ended up getting 4 of them. I already used 2, and these are my last 2. I'm sliding them underneath the zip tie. That's why I left room. And I'm tucking them into the grapevine wreath. I'm not going to glue them down at all. This way, if I decide I don't want to keep this like this, I can take it apart at a later date. And hot glue melts in heavy, heavy heat. So sunshine hitting my front door will melt the hot glue and they will fall off. So I am tucking them in and they will stay on. Then I'm going to take this pick, these orange flowers that came from Hobby Lobby. And sorry, this is really fast. I didn't realize it was this fast for this, but this is just to cut them off. And I am also going to take some of these yellow ones. These are roses from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you saw the thumbnail, I don't use these. I put them in. I thought it would be great and bright, but I didn't like it. I changed my mind. I did not like it. I'm saving them for another project. I liked them at first because they had orange on them too, but it was just too bright for me. I tucked them all in, and then I cut down my little orange ones, and I'm tucking those in. It's kind of symmetrical. I wasn't trying to be super symmetrical, but it's kind of symmetrical. And in the end, I took the yellow ones off anyway, and you'll see that here in just a minute. But I'm tucking in the orange ones around the side too, because I wanted, it to look good from the side on the door as well. So once I get that one in, I'm going to then focus on the bow. And if you guys are not new here, if you're an oldie but goodie, I'm making my whimsical Lacee Space Chaotic Mess bow. I don't make these on camera that often, and this one's going to go kind of quick here too. I know I need to do a new bow tutorial, and I'm going to do that coming up hopefully next week one day. But I just layer my ribbon together like this. This is how I do mine. A lot of people make a messy bow now. I've been doing this for years and years and years. And if you go back and you look at my beaded pumpkin wreath from 2019, this is how I make my whimsical chaotic mess bow. That's what I call it, and I love it. So I layered my widest ribbon first, then the orange, or then the buffalo check, then the orange, and then I found that Dollar Tree ribbon, which is gingham. I just kept rolling those around until I ran out of the Dollar Tree ribbon. And if I hadn't have, then I would have kept going because my bows are always really big. Then I thought, hey, I really like the carrot ribbon, so we're going to put one more on here. And I love to leave long tails, so then I have a tail to work with for this to make sure I know where I want the bottom to be. I do cut it off later, but this is how I do it. Like, I know that this tail is going to be on here. I cut the sides at a diagonal across from each other, opposite ways. And then I usually use floral wire, but I've been using these little zip ties, and I put one around it after I bend it in half on the top. So where the tail is, that's the top, and then the other side is the bottom. That's how I normally distinguish it. Once I get that on, and I couldn't pull it tight enough with my bare hands, so I'm using my needle nose pliers from Ryobi, then I take scissors and I cut all the loops open. I normally can do this in one cut if I don't make them too thick, but you might have to do this in more than one cut. And then once I get all the ends cut open, then I hold on to each individual ribbon and I twist it away from the rest of them. Now, the ones that don't have wire in it, the little skinny one, you don't have to twist. It's going to move on its own when you twist the rest of them. But I twist every last one of these separately, and I usually just go back and forth. It doesn't really make a difference. You can see I start at the bottom this time, and I try to twist colors away from each other too, so no two colors are sitting in the same spot. And I did that on both sides, and it looks like this. And you can stop there. I think that's really cool looking, but you guys know I'm super extra. I'm not going to stop there. I literally then take my good scissors. These are my Cutco scissors that cut ribbon so well. I'm going to then fold the ribbon over each one of the ones that has the wire in it and cut diagonally towards the wire, making dovetails. So it's going to be like a little V cut out of each one of these. And so I'm doing all of the ones that have wire in it. So the carrot one, the buffalo check, and the solid orange one, fold it in half and cut it into a diagonal V. And then the gingham one that's from Dollar Tree, I just cut on the diagonal. And I am not specific. I don't cut diagonally the same way. And this is what it looks like. This is my whimsical bow, and you can see I cut the tail off of it. Sometimes I leave the tail on, but I cut it off of this time. And you can also see I removed those yellow roses, like I said. So now I'm just going to put a bunch of hot glue on the back of this and glue it down to like where that zip tie is in the middle. That's why I left that space open to put my bow there. And I'm going to hold it down until it starts to dry, and then I will re-fluff it after I'm done with the rest of it. But I thought it was missing something since I took off the yellow flowers, and so I decided to go ahead and put on some white ones, and that's what I did next. I put on some of these little white florals that came on this eucalyptus. I don't know where I got this. I just thought it needed another pop of something there, but I didn't want to put a different color. So I just took a couple of the picks and I put them into the grapevine wreath. And after I was done with that, I liked how it looked, but you know I'm extra, and like the greenery on the side was kind of funky looking with them going up. So I decided, yep, I have this ribbon. I already cut the end of it into a dovetail. I'm going to twist this part together, put some hot glue on it, and put it on the back, the very back of this grapevine wreath. Yes, I know this is a weird angle. I'm sorry. I just pressed the glue into it really close to where the middle is, and I put the ribbon behind it. I was going to crinkle it up and have it come out from the side behind it, like coming down, and I will show you here in a second when I lay it down. You can see it behind it. I was going to crinkle it off to the side behind it like that, and then I thought, no, I'll crinkle it and pull it through for a second and see what that looks like. And then I decided it needed some more orange too. So I folded a piece in half and then twisted it in the middle and then glued it in the back underneath the middle. You can see both pieces I did on the back. And I'm sorry I'm out of frame on this. I did not know that. But I didn't glue it. I tucked it underneath that zip tie and then pulled one side through, so it'll just stay there. I didn't have to glue it. and then I pulled them underneath the wreath behind the beads and pulled them up and then crinkled it there. And I'm gonna show you one of my little secrets that I do all the time. I only had a picture of it. I thought I took video, but I didn't. I always hang it on a wall in my craft room. This is in my craft room. I have a little hook above the light switch, and I look at it and try to determine, is this how I want it or no? So on the bottom, you can see it's still coming out on the right, but on the top, it's coming off to the side on the top. And I decided I like that more, so that's what we're gonna do. And then this wreath will be finished. So all I did was take that one out the back. I left a little orange, you can see, look at how pretty that is, coming out from behind underneath the beaded wreath, but the sides I crinkled out to the side, and I think this turned out so beautifully. I love this wreath. So that is it for this video. Comment down below, will you make something like this? Will you take apart the beaded wreaths and put them together for something like this? Because that could be a wreath by itself. You could just put a little bow on the top of that and not put it in another wreath. I love the vibrant colors of this. I absolutely did not have a plan for how this was going to come out. I just pulled out a bunch of stuff, and I knew I wanted to use the beaded garland, and so this is what we got. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, and always sharing my videos. And if you're not a subscriber and you'd like to be, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hang out with us for a while. I'm going to have another video coming at you shortly. Also, if you want to follow me over on Instagram, it's Lacee Space, the same way that it's spelled here. And I will catch you in my next video. Bye, loves.